Disclaimer before this video starts. This is not my normal demographic. My normal demographic is usually for kids. However, this is not for kids. So if you are a little kid out there, you probably shouldn't watch this. And if you get scared easily, you also probably shouldn't watch this. Proceed at your own risk. When I was little, probably about 6 or 7, I lived in a small town with not many name brand restaurants. So because of that, my dad took me to a restaurant some of his friends recommended to him. The place was called Butcher's Meat. That name already scares the crap out of me. Since I was an only child, no one else could convince my dad not to take me. Also, my dad can get ticked off pretty easily, so I didn't want to mess with him. Also, I was a kid, so I didn't have much of a say in decisions of adults or parents. I was even more scared when I saw the place. You know those giant signs they have for restaurants? This place's mascot was a knife with red marks on it. I was pretty more unsettled after seeing that. I tried to tell my dad that their mascot was too inappropriate for me, but he said that those blood marks are actually little pieces of meat. The first time I went, we sat down inside. The only food they served there was one piece of meat and a water. I didn't know what kind of meat. I could be eating anything. I saw a guy in an apron with red scribble writing that said Butcher's Meat. I then saw him running over to a kid and said the happy birthday song they had there. I will never forget the words to that song. The words were, "Happy birthday, little kid. I sing you this song. I would give you presents, but I don't think knives are for kids." Those were the words. I, for some reason, can't remember the rhythm, although I do know that they would bring an old music box with them to go with the singing. I repeatedly told my dad that no restaurant plays an old music box with singing a birthday song. He didn't care. We finally got our food. It looked very messy, kind of like if you just now chopped up a pig in a messy, non-organized way. I ate it anyway. It was surprisingly good. The second time I went, I was a little scary. I remember seeing this guy in the kitchen watching over all of us. I looked away because back then, when I was a kid, not many kids knew a lot of scary cliches. I wasn't that worried. Once I looked away and looked back, he was back to working. Surprisingly, that wasn't the scary part. The scary part was when I went in the bathroom. I went inside and immediately had an unsettling feeling because it was freezing cold. I decided to push it off. I went into one of the stalls and saw an animal head that was decapitated. It was bloody, and I'm pretty sure it might have been still bleeding. After I saw that, I think I didn't need to poop. I needed to throw up. I nauseously walked over to the table to see my dad already coming to get me. He said, "Let's just go home." He never told me why until recently. He said that he saw one of the employees giving him a knife and saying that it comes with the kids' meals. He obviously told him no thank you. He paid him the money and then he went to the bathroom to tell me to leave. It was summer of 1990. I was now 8 years old. I forgot about the restaurant for a while until I saw an unsettling commercial that only played where I lived. The first part of it was zooming in on the restaurant. There was something odd about the restaurant, but I couldn't tell it. It then showed a guy in a knife suit. In my opinion, that's pretty dumb. He then yelled, "Come on down!" He stopped and then he screamed at the top of his lungs, "Butcher's Meat!" That was the only part in the whole commercial. After the talking, it zoomed in on the restaurant again, but this time there was a music box playing in the background. I then noticed the odd thing. I still swear to this day they did this on purpose. There was a figure in the restaurant. It disappeared after 2 seconds of zooming in more. Then it cut to black. Summer was just being over, and it was also my birthday. My dad decided to take me to Butcher's Meat again. This time I cried and begged him not to take me. When we were almost there, I decided that nothing was going to help. By the way, the only reason my dad takes me and not my mom is because my mom's vegan. Anyway, we pulled up. We got inside. Something was off. We got inside and sat down. I got scared by a guy literally calling me by my name. Peter. That's my name. He then proceeded to sing the happy birthday song they had there. I was so freaked the frick out. As soon as he finished, he asked, "So, what do you want, meat or water?" My dad said, "No thanks, that's okay." He took me out of the restaurant. While we were driving home, he told me we were never going there again. The fact that the guy knew my name finally set alarms in my dad's head. I will never forget this part. I hope no one ever has to experience these parts of my story. We got home. I went to my room and saw that my closet door was open, my poster was off the wall, and I was scared someone was in the house. I was going to bed, doubting that anyone was in the house. I then woke up to someone tapping at my window. Literally, I was so scared. I'm thankful for this part. I heard the police come over to my house, and he ran away. Me and my dad went over to the restaurant the next day, and it was closed. There was a sign that said, "Closed because of illegal tracking of customers." My heart just stopped knowing that me and my dad were being stalked. We later moved to another town. This town had name brand restaurants. I think it's safe to say that my dad never took me to any unknown restaurants ever again. I literally questioned why his friends recommended it to him. The place was a ghost town. The moral of the story is, be careful where you go.